if your strategy is correct, if your path is correct, and if suppose you are so unfortunate, then it's just an examination, just a career. There could be a lot. But if you get summary or some kind of like Vision 365, also do cover that extensively. So refer that. And as soon as I checked through Control F, I found my name against the rank 130, and so the happiness returned back. So that was a joyable moment, and so I have very gratitude to all of the friends, my parents, my friends, my educators, even the Vision IS, like the Vyas, etc. So I will give the due credit for it.
Hello aspirants and welcome to our Toppers Talk edition. Today we have with us Dr. Prem Kumar, who has secured an All India rank of 130 in this year UPSC examination of 2023. Sir has already cleared the examination in his previous attempt 2022 while securing a rank of 667 and has joined the Indian Railway Services. Sir hails from Bihar and did his initial education from there. Then he pursued his MBBS degree from Jawaharlal Nehru College of Medical Sciences. Thereafter, he joined the prestigious All India Institute of Medical Science, New Delhi, and worked under the Trauma Surgery Department. His journey from a dedicated medical expert to a remarkable civil servant is truly remarkable. Join us today in our conversation with Dr. Prem Sir, where again he will be sharing his remarkable journey with us. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, can you share what exactly was your feeling when again you saw your name in the list?
So as soon as result came, I was confused that how should I proceed, whether to check in the PDF by using Control F or should go line wise. So I decided, I was a bit confident that this year I will get better rank. So I decided to go through the list by checking name wise one by one, and I crossed first page. Unfortunately, the name was not there. In second also, I checked till rank 100, and I became very sad. I was just going to whip out, but gradually I thought that let's see what has happened. Let's check through Control F. And as soon as I checked through Control F, I found my name against the rank 130, and so the happiness returned back. So that was a joyable moment. But soon I realized that this is not a matter of too much enjoyment, because a lot of our friends was not able to make it. So I consider that I am a bit more lucky. And so I have very gratitude to all of the friends, my parents, my friends, my educators, even the Vision IS, like the Vyas, etc. So I will give the due credit for it to sculpt me to get this rank, and I am thankful to all of them, sir.
Sir, I'm sure everyone has their own unique motivation of why we want to become a civil servant. Would you like to share with us what exactly was your motivation?
Yes, sir. So, and for the motivations, it is not that I've got single motivation from the single source. But during my MBBS time, I was also doing some kind of tutoring. I was teaching with students. So one teacher told me that MBBS is not so difficult exam. If you have to really go through a difficult exam, so called in all across India, then try UPSC. There is something. So first time I got to know about the service, that there is a UPSC like thing, and there is services like IS, IPS, foreign services. So then after I took it as a challenge, and I start going through the, first of all, I still can remember the first day of my life where I referred The Hindu. First of all, in fact, The Hindu newspaper, that was the first day I got to know. And from YouTube, I searched that what is this exam, how to prepare that. So that was the beginning. But in due courses, when I was doing my preventive and social medicine duty, that is subject in MBBS. So at that time, I got to know through the various government schemes like Ayushman Bharat, like National Health Mission. This is one of the fascinating scheme of Government of India. And I asked my professors at that, how do you all decide that how the scheme will be implemented, because it is benefiting such a large population. So he told that in fact we do not do much, we just give input. It is the responsibility of the policy makers, and they come from the services like IS, IPS, IRS, and they decide the policy. So that becomes the boost. That definitely it's such a beautiful job. I can also participate in it. Why not? I can do. And even while working in AIIMS, that I was working 10, 11, 12, sometimes 13 hours, because trauma surgery is too hectic, and sometimes there is very high patient load in AIIMS, as well as there is also less number of doctors. So in that case, they used to give us duty that you have to handle the single OT. As a doctor, there are support staff definitely, and in that case, I realized that if I can work up to 11, 12 hours, so why cannot I sit and study and prepare for this exam in well manner? So that also become very much motivation. In fact, after that thought, I left my job before the prelims 2022. In fact, I was also preparing, going through the content, and gave my attempt and got selected into AIIMS last year.
Sir, what was the journey from an MBBS degree, then again pursuing a job, to the choice of writing the examination?
Yeah. In that case, the journey is like I belong to Bihar. That's a rural area, and in fact, in rural area, the Bihar situation, everyone knows that there is quite admittance that the situation is Bihar is poor, especially education, employment is huge. So when I decided to become doctor, so I completed my 12th education. Then after I took coaching, little bit of help from Akash Institute, New Delhi that time. I came here for 6 months and got qualified and got admission into Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, that is in Bhagalpur, one of the best medical colleges in Bihar, sir. And after completing my education, I shifted to Delhi. Especially the motive was income opportunity, because there is very less paid doctors in Bihar, and same doctor get paid very good remuneration here. So in that case, I came here. So I joined AIIMS. I was fortunate to get a job in such a prestigious institution, and then after I did my work in various department. In that, one of is the trauma surgery. I also did in PSM, preventive social medicine. COVID times, I worked in Safdarjung, and in that hectic times, it was a stress also, because I was dealing with the ICU patient in the COVID. So there was a real threat to life. It cannot be denied. But there was an opportunity also that the patient loads were drastically reduced. And in that case, the whole year during the COVID period, I managed my study very well while doing duty, because we used to get quarantine of 14 days. And that was a kind of a cherry on the pie, because no disturbance, government is paying for accommodation, food, all you have to do is to do your studies. So I was doing that. I took benefit a lot from that period. And then after, sir, I resigned and gave the exam in 2022 and further in 2023, sir.
Truly a very motivational journey.
Thank you very
had.
much, sir.
Now, sir, I will take up the conversation regarding the strategy for preparing the examination. Let's start one by one. Let's say I have decided to pursue the examination. What exactly should be now be the strategy of a student who has just a knowledge of examination and wants to prepare for the examination?
So in that case, from my experience, I'll be telling that first of all, get to know very well about this exam. And fortunately, nowadays, there are a lot of orientation sessions by a lot of coaching institute, even a lot of personal mentors are doing that. But when I started, perhaps in 2020, it was less, little bit. But on YouTube, there are a lot of sufficient sources that what book you have to refer, what coaching you can think about, and what way you can draft. Even there are a lot of videos regarding making routine, etc. So first of all, I decided to collect my all resources, that what money I'm going to spend while during this preparation, so that in due latter time it doesn't become any stress. I study quietly because I have sufficient money and resource. Then after also what subject, what teachers I have to refer. And the most important, sir, that what optional, because I had thought about MBBS medicine subject as optional. In fact, I gave my first mains. It was in 2020. So at that time, fortunately, I got cleared prelims, but mains I was not able to clear because the optional backfired. Medical science, I was absolutely not prepared. So hardly got 130 marks. So the next day when I gave optional paper, next day I decided that I will change my optional. And I converted my optional, basically I shifted to anthropology. So there should be very much clarity that what resources, you have sufficient resource. In monetary terms, simultaneously support of parents is also important. There are a lot of people fortunate enough that they get the exam cleared in first attempt. We see a lot of results. But if we observe the overall results, we find that 70 to 80% are the person who have repeated the exam. Second attempt, third attempt, the most selection comes from third attempt. So you have to mentally be prepared for the 2 to 3 years at least. And along with mental preparation, you need support from your parents, especially for girls, because they often feel pressure for marriage. So there should be clarity from parents that 2-3 years you are not going to be bothered about it. Simultaneously, for money, for resources, nowadays we observe online system is there. So there should be online resources too, like the arrangement of internet, a tab or mobile or laptop, whatever you prefer. And also, like there should be better which course, if you are going to refer from coaching, you have to. And the second thing, sir, that which I have found very important, that there is a role of coaching. I have like I observe that coaching is not totally important, but at least important. What happens that when in my first attempt, when I referred NCRTs, so what I was doing, that I was reading completely. When I cleared one chapter, and you can if you ask me that what content can I recall, it was very little, hardly 1 2 line out of reading 4 5 pages. So, and what happened at that time, the important content I left, and the content which are not important I picked, because sometimes important content are very tough, that doesn't go into mind without simplification. And in that case, sir, taking help from mentor, teacher, coaching will help. I'm not saying that this is definitely only and single way, but this is definitely a way which can help. So these are the two strategy that is required, I think.
So talking about strategy, again there are mistakes also which students commit in this, again making the strategy. What according to you are the mistakes which students should avoid in making their preparation strategy?
The first mistake I think they should avoid, that they should not think about number of seats. If you have a plan, clear plan, that you have to come into civil services, then having complaint in mind that there is so much seats, less seats. There is only, earlier there were 250 IPS, 200 IPS seats, and now this in the 2024 attempt there is only 150. These complaints are not going to help anyone. In fact, they are going to kill the time. I also used to do such kind of analysis, and believe me, it never benefited me anyway, because this is sure that we need a rank, a better rank to get a single service, and for that we have to fight. So the things which are not in our capacity, there is need not to bother about that, sir. Second thing, sir, most important, I understand that optional, that what optional you have to choose, be very clear, and go through various like persons, ask them, especially those who have qualified the examination, the teachers who are in the tutoring and mentoring, having better knowledge of optional. And PYQ is also a way, because for any optional that is graduation level subject, you should have basic information before starting it. Like suppose if someone is taking history optional, they should have at least basic information of 6 7 8 9 10 level. So if you are thinking about any optional like humanities, so better first give a try to 6 to 10 years, and understand that whether the basic concept is going into mind or not. And if that is happening in very better way, then definitely you can think about 11 12th NCRT and then graduation level subjects. Plus, if you have graduation from that same subject, I think that there is need to analyze in multiple aspect, not just in one aspect, that I have done the graduation from this optional, so I am going to do very good. Definitely, there is merit in that, that if you have graduation, you will be performing better. But now, sir, as according to my personal experience, what I am observing, that in medical science, I think this year, the maximum the person has been able to attain is 280 marks. But in contrast, in anthropology, the person has been able to attain up to 326 marks. So there is about 40 to 50 marks gap between the top marks of these two subjects. So definitely, if a medical science student opts for anthropology and do the same hard work, so there is chances that he will be getting 10, 20, 30 marks more in the same, if the parameters, all the parameters are the same. So there is not a single thing which we should listen, that optional depends completely on hard work, or second opinion is that optional depends completely on choosing subject. The answer lies in between. So if you have very strong command on optional, so irrespective how that is performing, go for it. And if you have not very strong command, and the PYQ are the best option to judge, to check. And if that is not going very well, then try to go through such optional which are interesting, which you have basic knowledge, and which in which you can invest. Like availability of material is also very important, because you have to write 10 marks question. So the material should be very crisp, the material should be very delivering to the point, So if you are reading, suppose in the anthropology optionals, if you are reading marriage chapter from the some foreign writer book, there are a lot of content which are irrelevant, not asked in the exam. So if you are referring those books, so that are going to consume your time. Definitely that are going to build the base, but at what cost of time, that also need to be think. So the content, if there is a coaching content or any content available, so refer that. That is better because they are addressing those topics which has relevancy to the syllabus. So these mistakes should not be done.
Definitely, this will help students to decide their optional very effectively and strategically, right? Certainly, sir, many students again join or start preparing for the examination after completing their graduation. Many of them, maybe in the second or third year of the graduation, start preparing for the examination. How should a student strategize between his graduation along with preparing for the examination?
So in fact, this is very challenging question because the effort, it depends completely on the effort of the student. But definitely I want to address this question very well because for my case, first of all, I told you that in the second year when I was teaching, I got to know that this is a service, UPSC is something like that. And that is a challenge that I has to do, that I has to complete. So first of all, I got to know that what are the things. So first of all, I got to know about medium. There are two most commonly chosen medium, that is Hindi and English. So in Bihar, I basically, English we started in class 5. That was the situation of Bihar. There was no English till the primary education class 5. So the base of English was not too good. So, but I decided, what I listened to YouTube, that the selection rate from the Hindi medium is low. The content availability is also difficult. So there is a lot of difficulty. And ahead of that, I had only one difficulty, that is prepare for English. So in my third year, I joined a teacher who was teaching English for SSC students to build my grammatical English, to understand English. So 1 year I gave dedicatedly during the college time to get a strength for English so that I can write well, I can read well, I can understand properly, I can perform in interview too, because interview is a complete medium of communication and that should also be good at least. So in that case, I started referring from that period. So this is my case because I was poor in English. So I built the first strength in English. But there may be a student which has very good English from his or her childhood. So they need not to invest in that. So on the same basis, if someone is deciding, suppose in a first year of graduation, someone listen about the examination, I think that is the best period when you can accept that whether I have to go in this field or not. That is not too late and even not too early, because the preparation, the question, level of questions now that is coming, I think that the books like Lakshmikant, Sankara are not sufficient. They are just now becoming basic level book, because if anyone refer to the prelims question of 2023 attempt, they can understand. Out of 20 preliminary polity related questions, hardly 5-6 was directly doable from the Lakshmikant. So content level has to be improved quite, because the level of examination is gradually increasing. So in that case, getting knowledge about this examination during the first year of UG is very good, and from that you can start basic level of a strategy. Suppose English is bad, work on that. For CSAT, basic mathematics is bad, and if you are humanity background, your graduation, or if you are from the medical science, biology background, that need to be corrected, because we are observing that the level of CSAT, that has also increased the level of mathematics, that is beyond our understanding. Out of 50 questions this attempt, I was able to do only 4 questions. Rather, I totally relied on the comprehension part. So someone can take care of that for 6 months in graduation level. Simultaneously, further someone can refer in the second year of graduation or third year the very basic level of understanding from Lakshmikant like books, that what are the political concepts or NCRTs are the best to be referred during the second or third year of UG. That is the appropriate time. And when you are completed, especially if you have done second year of UG, then you can think about either coaching or advanced level of book. That's completely your discretion, what suits you and what is your capabilities. And PYQ you can refer and prepare the whole better level preparation at the last year of graduation, and try the first attempt when you have completed the graduation. That could be a strategy, but we observe that a lot of students start preparing when they have done the graduation. And for that, there is a different kind of pressure, sir, that are the same because they also take decision that when they started preparing, just the next year they have to give the exam. So in that case, if you are thinking about that pattern, then I think coaching, the taking support of coaching is very good, because referring by self is very difficult at that time. And if not, then think about skipping that year attempt and consolidate your preparation very well and give next to that attempt. That would be fine.
You deconstruct the strategy very well, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, many students, again, many working professionals, if I talk specifically about, also attempt and prepare for the examination. And you have been on that particular case where, again, in the first attempt, you gave examination along with your job. How exactly a student should manage his job along with preparing for the examination?
So in fact, this is a difficult way. There is no denial that when you are working. Second, it depends completely on your work profile. The employer which have employed you, what kind of relation you are with him, or especially that what kind of time you are getting. It doesn't matter that what you are working. Matter is how much time you are arranging. So if you have job that is very light, then you can arrange at least 3 to 4 hours of studies, then you can prepare with job. Simultaneously, sir, the second thing which is most important, there is a mobile with everyone, and there is a little bit of time with everyone while doing work. Suppose even in the corporate setup, we observe that there is tea break of 30 minutes, there is lunch of 1 hour, and if you have that mental capacity, then you can utilize that. For example, I used to remember, sir, that in the 2022 attempt, what I did, I downloaded the PDF of PYQ from 2013 to 2021, the prelims paper 1 GS1 question bank in PDF in my phone. And I had duty that in when I was in trauma surgery at that time, I had to assist this patient for radiology department. So from the trauma department, I had to carry the patient. Basically, there was a staff was carrying. I was just I had responsibility to be present with the patient. So I was working in law to get to there, and it took generally 15 to 20 minutes. It take for radiological process done. So in doctor chamber we had to wait. So while waiting, I used to open my phone. I used to solve 15 questions just in PDF. And if there is some question which I have not, and simultaneously I had downloaded answer. After 15 question I ticked and then matched. And the question which was wrong, I circled it that I have to study about it. And when I came home from my job, I refer hardly in 100 question, I was finding almost 30 to 35 question I was not aware about, and I have done some wrong. So 30 to 35 question I had to give 1 hour when I returned to home. So like this, it depends completely. It's completely your attitude and aptitude that how you arrange your time. But definitely it is doable while working. Only thing required that you should have that will, you should have that capacity to bear the pain that while you are working, you have such a mental pressure, yet you are in the exam process. Like I told that was when I was doing that, I used to open my phone and solve the PYQs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for guiding the students who are again preparing for examination, simultaneously doing a job as well, right? It is often also told that students need to strategically see the syllabus thoroughly before preparing for the examination. How important it is to analyze the syllabus of prelims and mains before preparing for the examination?
I think that it is not just before, but till the interview it is important that you refer the syllabus. There is quite significance of syllabus because in prelims also there are topics. But what I observe that the syllabus given by UPSC is very restricted, not explanatory. So you can refer, any student can refer the explanatory syllabus. A lot of coachings have given that suppose there is a topic in syllabus that constitution and Indian polity. So in that they have not written that what in the constitution, preamble, fundamental right, DPSP, but a syllabus decoded by anyone has that. So keep that version. That would help you to get the important topics. And then after, sir, I think that when you are especially referring newspaper, so in context of newspaper, I will say that first of all, complete your 3 subjects. that are quite important. The first one is polity, second one is economy, and third one is IR. If you have completed the basics of these topics, you will be able to understand the editorials and important news. And in that, while navigating those news, syllabus has a very significant role. Like if there is a editorial on defection, so that become important. In syllabus, there is nowhere mention of defection, but question used to come. That is a part of constitution also under 10th schedule. So that's why they are asking, and anyone which has decoded this, that kind of syllabus is good. Second things are that I used to refer the international edition of The Hindu, that is in online version, and daily we used to get one page of science. And in that science page, some day that is very technical, like they have described the nodes, how nodes are working in AI. I think that is not too much important from the exam point of view, unless and until you are an engineer in the AI and you are going to face interview. Then after, there are some science editorials. They have beautifully explained the impact of poverty on tuberculosis. And that could be a question, that what is the impact of poverty on disease. So that is your thing that you have to pick, and that you can only do if you are able to recall the syllabus and if you have properly understood the syllabus. So only the PDF of syllabus is not sufficient. Take a decoded version plus strengthen that syllabus from PYQ. Suppose if you have syllabus and there is a word mentioned constitution, and if you are referring PYQ and you are observing that there is defection mentioned, there is mention of parliamentary privilege, there is mention of parliamentary committee, write that are PYQs that are telling that we are the part of syllabus. So make it widen.
As you talked about again reading newspapers as well, so again I'll continue the discussion of newspapers. How a student should prepare for current affairs? It is a very again a word or a topic where again a lot of doubts, a lot of strategies, where students again need to analyze ki how exactly we should prepare for current affairs as far as examination is concerned. Any specific strategy you would like to share with us ki how exactly a student should prepare for current affairs?
So with respect to current affairs, like two things are important already for the convenience of a student. Like there are a lot of like PIB, All India Radio, PSR legislative. If you're going to dedicate time on all these, you are left with nothing. The same news is repeated, but you have no time to cover your static. That is very important. So for the current affair, the content should be very concise and the source should be very concise. Just two sources are sufficient. That has worked for me. The first one is newspaper, referring daily, especially the 2-3 page. And for to refer newspaper, I already told that the basic understanding, basic idea of 3 subjects are very required: polity, economy, and international relation. If you have completed these, either from your classes or from your books, refer newspaper. Start. Before that, there is not much more importance of newspaper, because you will not understand the current affair there. And when you have taken that from the Hindu, and second one is before the examination, the Vision PT 365 and Mains 365, these are famous. Every topper used to refer. I also refer that. So that is so concise, and the strike rate is also good. Fortunately, till date, Vision has given good strike rate with respect to prelims. So these two resources I will definitely suggest. If someone has time, especially at the mains and interview time, then you can refer some content of PRS legislative. For example, I referred PRS legislative before mains, just 10 days before mains, and very important, very heated topic. For example, AI. There is parliamentary standing committee reports. These reports are just one page. They have concise the issue in just one page. For example, use of AI in health. So parliamentary standing committee has studied that and has compiled in one page, and PRS has uploaded that page. So in one page you are getting issues, problem, what government is doing, what could be done. So for 10 to 15 topic, especially for the GS3 and GS2, that is quite useful. But that at the time of mains and at the time of interview, not at the time of preliminary examination. For prelims, newspaper and especially any concise like magazine could be important.
So now I would like to ask your take on note making. Many students prefer highlighting whenever they are reading the standard books or the magazines you referred. Many students make notes out of it. Many students make short notes. So what was your strategy of note making?
So before going to note making, what I want to tell that I have a reading of habit of reading. I used to read a voluminous book that is from the MBBS. That is a gift from the MBBS. That in that you have to read very thick books. So I got that habit, but my pace of reading is very slow. But if you really ask that why slow, then the reason is very simple. That when I read one paragraph completely, then I used to stay. I do not shift to next paragraph, and I used to concise that. Suppose the paragraph is of 5 to 8 lines, I used to concise that in one line. That what a single line message the paragraph is going to tell. That I have to internalize, and when I have internalized that, I used to make notes of that. Plus, after making that, I used to like newspaper I continuously have been using. So unique examples I used to collect, especially sir. The exam I think is more of awareness. Definitely we need knowledge, but you need to be very aware about the about the your environment, what is happening in the country, in the world. For example, in GS1, I'm just telling a very important example that there was a question that what was the impact of railways, like when the British started uh, introducing railways in their colonial lands. So what was the impact? That was a question I think very it could be say difficult question, because no one has studied that what is the impact worldwide of the introduction of railways. In India, we can easily tell that it has connected people. There are positives, there are negatives, but at world scale. So at that time, I was able to recall a movie. That movie is based on the Crow Indians. That's a very famous Leonardo DiCaprio movie. And in that movie, I had seen that British introduced railway to mine silver, and that led to displacement of the Crow Indians and their murder. So I gave that example that British led a railway network in US. Then after one blog I was referring, a lot of there are nomadic tours person, like they used to go in various country make blog. So in one blog last to last year, I had seen that a person had went to Africa, and he traveled from the Trans-Saharan line, and that is a very important line to carry coal and iron ore. So I got example from that and wrote in the paper. So look, these things are not mentioned in the book, not in the newspaper. This is a general awareness. Even the movie is telling a example which can be quoted in the paper. Simultaneously, they had asked the use of mobiles in the children, like how it is impacting. So in the science page, an enhanced study I published that how it is changing retina, how it is affecting the visuals, like our ophthalmic capacity, eye, the capacity of eye, how it is damaging. So these examples I quoted there. So there is need of wide awareness, and in that current affair, not just from notes or magazines, newspaper, everything you are happening according to your mind, whatever you are able to retain, that will, no one knows how that will help you, but that can help you. There is surety that it may help you.
So now we'll switch to our conversation prelim specific, right? What exactly was the strategy for preparing for prelims examination?
So for prelims, like I don't think that for prelims we need to prepare very different from mains. In fact, in my understanding and according to my experience, I think that a subject should be prepared in holistic, complete subject. What we are observing that now we are in market, well, we are listening that there is data material, there is fact material that are not going to help much more. You can quote that in mains and somewhere, but if you are completely relying on that, that is not going to a sure guarantee of your selection. Maybe by luck you can tackle 4 5 questions and get selected, but there is sure, if you have to think about sure shot selection, then I think that you refer complete subject. Either you refer from any teacher or from any book, but refer end to end, completing all the topics which are mentioned in syllabus. That is most required. It covers 60% of your problems of prelims, because you have a very good content and you can apply that in questions too. Second is the current affairs, which I told that the Hindu has been the part of my preparation since the first day. I prepared English for that to understand decode 1 year, and then after I started reading the Hindu, initially it was taking 1.5 hour almost, and even more than that, because initially I was reading the complete newspaper. Now I have now selected 3 to 4 pages. The first page is the first news page, and in that also if there is something important with respect to exam, then there is the second priority I used to give is the science page, because I am very interested in scientific development happening in the world. Then the third, text and context. Earlier it used to come by different name, but now it is coming from the name of text and context. These are the most three important pages. Coming to editorial, I think that in editorial there is mostly opinions. Sometimes that, in my personal opinion, I think that that is not a true story, exaggerated, more criticism, and sometimes it looks like this is the real content. So that is very confusing, but I think to build the argument should refer anyone's, almost everyone should refer that. So give the third priority to that editorials, and especially for the CSAT, I took help of the editorial, like the side editorials, which are just two paragraphs. What I used to do, sir, that the first paragraph I studied, there are 4 lines. The first 2 lines I will concise in 1 line. That what is the meaning of these 2 lines? Then the next 2 lines, what are the meaning of these? And then these two meanings has what common message, and that helps very much in comprehension. So for that purpose, I use that side editorials, the two paragraph editorials. Then after refer world page, because that regularly reflect the names in news which used to come in prelims, and that is a headache. Then after, sir, sometimes for current affairs especially, since recent 8 to 10 months, I am referring Vantage by Palki Sama. There is a first post YouTube channel, news channel, but that is very good for world related current affair, what is happening across the world. Then after, sir, for prelims, Vision magazine is quite important. I would say the significance of PT 365 is too good that in 2022 I was able to get 110 marks. And most of the news like Miyawaki method, they asked that time. Then they asked about that fungus specific question. That was in Vision. So I got help from that. So thereafter, the fourth important thing is PYQ, sir. Like don't refer PYQ to understand just syllabus or concept. Give the proper test. Like the prelims is going to happen in hardly 40-45 days. Now you have 40-45 days. Download the paper from 2001 to 2023, total 23 years paper, and sit down, give in 2 phases. If not possible, if you don't have so much time, since 2013 to 2023, 10 years, at least paper 1, paper 2, simulate exactly like examination, take OMR sheet and solve not just solve 5 questions and by seeing explanation, give that proper exam. That will very help, not in the sense that what knowledge you have, in the sense of pressure, that suppose there is drastic question that you have never thought about it, you have to take decision that you are going to do or not, because a single question, if that is correct, may keep you out of the list. So practice that for those things, not just for content. Definitely this is the most navigable source for content, but for your patience, for your strategy, these papers are important. Give that in exactly exam format. This helps a lot for prelims.
So any specific area of the syllabus or subject student should specifically focus more?
So there are 2 things which I want to say in that context. The first one, when you are practicing, make sure that the common question you never do wrong. There are 3 types of questions: the easy, medium and tough. So the tough question, most of the students have not heard about that. Leave that. There is no problem. I think that it should be left. In 90% of cases, you are going to make it wrong. For medium level of questions, you have confusion, then it's completely your discretion and your attitude that how you are going to tackle that. But easy level question, if you are doing wrong, you are going to be out of the exam. So be very specific when it is easy level question. Read all 4 options, read carefully the question, what is the question is, and thereafter mark carefully that whether you are taking the real like OMR, in OMR option, real A, B, C, D. Suppose the answer is A and by mistake you take B. That all matters a lot, because a single question can do drastic impact. In case of second things that I mainly focus on science and technology, because being from the medical background, in prelims there are 7-8 important subjects, and all the students who are giving the exam, one subject may be relevant to them directly from the graduation. In my case, I had done medical science, so biology was very relevant, and we observed 7, 8 questions up from there. So I tried hard. I never skipped those biology topics. What used to happen? Suppose I am a doctor, so I can have a preconceived notion that every biology question I can do in exam, because that would be very simple. But when I go into exam and when you observe, there is a question of pro-nuclear level of technology, and this is something new. We go into exam, we observe CAS9, and in the whole medical profession I didn't refer. So it was a mistake because I didn't refer the news related to the science and technology. So never do such mistake. Suppose you have history graduation, at least refer some magazine or some content, or revise at least once for the prelims perspective, the history subject also. And if you are doing mistake, that means you are losing very seriously. A tough history question cannot be advantage for a medical science graduate, but definitely that is going to be an advantage for a history graduate. So in that case, don't be complacent for any subject for any stage. That is important.
So these days, CSAT again has become very difficult in terms of questions asked, and again the pattern of questions asked in CSAT examination. How exactly a student should strategize his CSAT preparation for prelims examination?
So in that case, I think there are a lot of a strategy, but what has worked for me beautifully, that in all the 3 attempts, I just clarified the CSAT by margin. For example, this year I have got 72.5 marks. Last year 70 marks, almost just 3-4 marks more than what is required. So basically what happened with me, that I make a very clear cut decision that I will give 1 hour to both the section. For comprehension, there are 27-28 questions each year. I will dedicate 1 hour, not 1 minute beyond that. And for math section also. So that was in my mind. So speed was accordingly when I was solving the paper. That all the 27 question I was constantly watching on the watch also, that what time has left and how much question I have been able to do that. And in that I was adjusting my speed. Suppose there is very tough question, after taking 1 try, 2 try, that is not I'm going to infer, I'll leave that. We'll go ahead. So that was the first thing, that be assured. Because last year what happened, that the same strategy helped me much more. In the first hour, I completed comprehension. Now I'm thinking that I have completed 27 question. Remaining from math, I will do 12-13 question. 40 will be easy for get the set clear. So when I went into mathematics section, the first page, there were 7-8 question. I was unaware of any one question. That I saw that there are 8 question and I am not able to do. So I managed my pressure, not an issue, go ahead. Again went ahead, in the second page also, not a single question was doable by me. Again I started becoming panicking. Then again I went for third page. Again there was no question. So I got to know that this 1 hour is going to be very difficult, because anyhow at least I have to try 32 question, at least my best, and that 32 question I have to find out also in just 1 hour. Fortunately, I was able to find 4 more questions. I did 31 questions. But I was thinking that my marks in CSAT would be 67, 68 just to the qualifying. But it is 72.5. Means I have done just 1 question wrong. So my comprehension has paid me very well. And I told you that for comprehension, I have taken a lot of pain from newspaper, even from reading common books. I told that when I used to read a book from 1 paragraph, I used to take a 30-second, 40-second, 1 minute time and infer that what paragraph is tending to tell. So that technique has helped very much in comprehension, and always comprehension has saved me, and I'm thankful for all these books that helped me to develop such a skill. And if suppose if you are an engineer, do that for mathematics. Don't leave mathematics section because you are an engineer. Just refer it, study it, take at least half hour, 1 hour before examination for 30 to 60 days.
Sir, apart from reading, revision is also advised to students multiple times. What was your strategy of revision as specifically for prelims examination?
So in that case, I have my notes for all the subjects, being from polity, every GS subjects. plus so I used to revise that. Especially like my plan was that when I am studying, I will study newspaper for 1 hour. Then after for 2 hours, I will study new concept, suppose, and 1 to 1.5 hours I had fixed for revision, especially from my notes. So geography I had completed when I did classes. I completed in 2 months by using help of NCRT, some teachers' videos also. But after 2 months, when I was revising, it used to take 1 hour daily for 10 days. I was able to, because I made notes in parts, total geography in 10 parts. So I had target that in 1 hour I has to revise this one part. So that was deciding my speed according to the content, and so I was able to revise in 10 days. So revision is quite important, and there should be your own insight that how you revise. The most like painful thing in revision, that you always think you never start. Whenever you start like taking revision of your notes, it is going to boost your marks by 20-30% at least, at instance. So revision has very important significance.
So apart from reading, revising, now solving a lot of questions specifically for prelims examinations is told to be one of the key of clearing prelims examination. So what was your take on giving mock test and solving questions?
I told you that there were two approach. The first one, in fact, in revision also, so I missed one point I want to add, that PT 365. That is the gist of whole year current affair. What happened that if the prelims is in June and May last, and if you have read newspaper in August last year, so very difficult to revise. Definitely there is theme in your mind, there is understanding that something like this topic exists or concept exists, but the data or some kind of unique content, so if that is missing, the PT 365 is useful. So you can refer that at that time, or any other coaching material which do concise. Magazines are important, in fact they help a lot. And the significance of mock test is also important, because Abhyas is one of the very good mock tests. And nowadays we are observing in Rajendra Nagar, Karol Bagh, every coaching is giving free mock test. And if you are staying here, even that is available online mode. So what is the harm of doing that? But before mock test, must take mock of the PYQ. That is very significant. And for prelims, I think that 20 mocks are good. And in that you can refer 10 mocks from directly PYQ and 10 some coaching or expert mock that can help.
Sir, what advice would you like to give to the students regarding the changing pattern of examination of prelims every year? The nature of questions, the nature of options are changing. How a student should tackle those changes?
First of all, I think that to tackle those changes, don't increase your mental pressure, because if you are observing the syllabus, the questions are tougher, the cutoff is lower. So pressure is not going to help. So accept it that the question the next year, the question will be more tougher, again the next more tougher, and the cutoff may also go low or may retain there. Okay, so the first thing which you need to do. Second things are that you need to read extensive, go extensive. Now I told Lakshmikant is a good book that is going to build your base, but not sufficient, because they are asking question on home guards, they are asking question on First Amendment, they are asking question on that what do you understand by due process of law, and that need interpretation, quite interpretation. And in that, suppose there is a material which explains, for example, if you are reading article 14 or article 15, 16, in that there is a material which explains, or let's say article 21, where the due process of law is the main yes sir, the due process of law is the discourse. So in that case, the material which is referring to court cases also, for example in polity, now court cases are becoming relevant. UPSC earlier don't used to ask refer case laws, but from the last 2-3 attempts you are observing that they are directly writing in the question that refer case law. So here not just students but teachers also need to be upgraded drastically. Coachings also need to be upgraded drastically with respect to the drastic change. So I don't think that the single effort of a student can do a lot of miracle. It's a whole ecosystem of the preparation that need to evolve according to lines of UPSC. But definitely in the capacity of student, there is clear-cut way ahead that you increase your study time. You less rely on the fact figure notes, rather rely more on the conceptual, and holistic component, and for that like reading 360 degree of a subject is important. Like you took just a note of 15 page of ancient India and you go to exam now, there is hardly one question or two out of 10 you will be able to solve. So now this is a time that you need to refer not 10 20 pages material. Material is definitely going to be 100 pages to tackle only the single subject like ancient India. So the examination is changing and there is a pressure on UPSC itself because 5 lakh students are giving exam. Gradually these numbers are increasing. So they have only this way to filter out. And for that you have to be ready mentally plus also by preparation wise. So read extensively. That is the solution.
So now we'll switch to mains examination, right? And we'll go paper wise. So first I'll ask your strategy for preparing for essays.
So for essay, like since I opted for English medium, so it was headache initially, and for that I devised a strategy. Basically, it was my own strategy as for me because I think first of all I noted subjects from the syllabus, like it was world history, ancient history, modern history, polity, economy, international relation, internal security, like this, ethics. I just wrote on a copy 2 to 3 pages. I had these subjects. Then after when I used to study, I started filtering the themes. For example, in ancient India, I filtered four themes. The first one is Buddhism. That is a theme. Like there is a lot of content that is in my mind, but on that copy, it is just written Buddhism, Jainism, Shramnik Dharma. Then after it is written Asoka, Asoka Dhamma, like that. Then after in ancient world history, for example, Renaissance. Then after there is French Revolution, there is Russian Revolution. Then there is such incidents of ancient or modern part in world history. I make especially those things which are a theme. A paragraph or two paragraph can be written about like that. Simultaneously, I did in science. For example, I wrote the Galileo heliocentric versus geocentric theory. Then after Copernicus, it was Copernicus heliocentric and geo. Then after Galileo discovery of telescope. Then after Edward Jenner discovery of vaccine. These things. And whenever there is an essay, like especially the two essays. Last year it was an essay that history is a story of victory of like rational man over the romantic man. So in that I provided these examples. Like earlier, the church was a romantic, like any disease which was happening that was praised by the church like as a curse of God. But a rational man came and discovered something like vaccine, and that made a different history in the humankind, where it saved whole of the Europe when the population used to decline from 100 to 33%, and that gave a completely new kind of power to Europe. So these themes I inserted a lot in the example and content. And coming to especially preface of essay, like there is clear cut direction that you have to write introduction, then body, then conclusion. So first of all, you have to design that how you are going to write essay. So what content you will be using. So I used to like for an intro, the topic is there and you have to choose out a relevant example. Based on that, you can make a story of 1 page. Like there was a question that last I think 2020 essay. In that it was asked that the ship sinks not like due to water around it, the water which used to get into it. So in that I wrote a story of the person which discovered bulb, that is Thomas Alva Edison. He was so he was suffering from autism, and his mother went to school and the principal said that we cannot teach your child. And then when that Alva Edison asked her mother that why you are not sending me to school, so mother said that you are not going because the teacher said that we are not capable, your word is so brilliant, we are not capable to teach him. And then later when he opened in his age of 60 70s of her mother letter, that how he was not suffering from autism and school rejected, he was quite weeping. So her mother's emotional intelligence saved her career. So such kind of examples you can collect from novels you read, from newspaper you read, or from there are a lot of example. Like in this essay I wrote the example of Buddhism, that the orthodoxy in Hinduism at that time led, how it led to birth of Buddhism and a complete new era. So like that you have to make intro so that the case should be very strong and very relevant to the topic. There is a question this year that there is a nation which needs more charity, this was a question I'm not able to recall completely. So I wrote about the Africa, like when there was a New York Times photographer did suicide, and there is a very important photograph, the vulture and the little girl. So how the Africans suffered, and then after when this photograph became popular, the whole world started doing charity for Africa, but it has helped nothing. That Africa is same yet again. So these kind of examples you need to keep in mind for essay. Second thing, that to make it very symmetric, first of all you should dedicate pages. Like these 2 pages I will write intro, last के 2 page I will write conclusion, and suppose there is remaining 7 page, because total 11 page, and if you have the page to write, you can write all. I used to write all 11 pages in both essay. So in that you are left with 7 page. Now the body you divide in 4 topic, and for each 4 topic give 1.5 pages, like that, and make it symmetrical, so that there is a symmetry and there is a flow in the essay. You restrict your example, your content to a one single agenda or narrative, and you shift to next. So it become holistic. So that thing must be kept in mind. The more example, plus you should show in essay the very your thinking mind. Suppose there is a question that history is a story of victory. So in that case, most of the essay should be written that definitely it's a victory of rational man. But ask there also question in a essay, in a paragraph, make it a paragraph of 1 and 1.5 page, and ask that is there always a case that history is only the story of victory of these rational over romantic. The answer is no, because at the same time when the Bhakti movement came in India, so there was a chaos, especially there is less communal harmony, and the Bhakti saints through their romanticism gave a new history. They also created history. So the always what topic is that is not correct. So don't be 100% agreeable. If there is logic and expression which is counter effective, as well as also show your thought process, that this is not only the line, the opposite line could also be considered, so that in essay that is going to give you good marks. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it flowery. Like there was very little data. There was a lot of examples, but little data, and simultaneously I didn't use any quote in both of my essay. Yet I was able to get last time 120, and this year I have been able to get 110. Overall the essay marks is low this year, yet this is a comfortable marks. So my strategy was focused not to get 140, 150, because that need to do very extensive work in that. You need to remember a lot of quote, poem. I had no such capacity to remember poems long and write in essay. So I made myself sure that at least I do not go below 90 or below 100. I have to remain in the range of 100 to 120, and for that I devised this strategy, picking themes from all the subjects. Like in polity, I picked theme of Keswanand Bharti case. That I wrote in Rational Man, Romantic Man, that how constitutional interpretation, that parliament is supreme, parliament becoming romantic, and the court came that be rational, its authority with the people. So such examples I quoted, these are very common examples, examiner can relate and appreciate that in such a questions, these things have been used. So this is the take on essay, sir.
So in the essay paper, we have 3 hours, right? And again, there are 2 sections, there are 4 essays. So what is the strategy a student should adopt in order to choose the essay he wants to write? And again, what time should ideally he devote in brainstorming the essay? And again, what time should he dedicate to writing the essay?
So first on choosing the essay, first of all choose that essay in which every word of that line, the essay which you are choosing, is very clear to you. Suppose there is an English word used, obscurantism, yet I am not able to pronounce. That word was there present in 2020 GS1. If such word have been used in essay, I was not able to write because I am not understanding the meaning of that word. So first be clear that every single word used in that philosophical or whatever essay is there is clear to you. Second, be very sure that every part of the sentence is making sense to you, that what the sentence used to say. And third, the whole line is giving you a theme that on what pattern you have to think. Like there are two kind of essays we observe, that one is based on some social issue like education, health. So for that you need to be prepared with data, schemes, the real situation on ground, what we are doing, what need to be not need not to be done. That's the GS play a very good role in that. But in philosophical essay, I think that is very important that you are very clear with the sentence, then after only choose that. Second, you have the content and example, and especially in philosophical essay, the essay related to history is very comfortable for me because I have a lot of example to quote with that, or something like talk on rationality, or something like this year that rationality is, comes when there is an opposite team. So again the same example I used, Buddhism, last year, this year also. Again the same, Edward Jenner, Copernicus, Galileo, in both the year essay, I used the same example because somewhere it fitted into the essay, what was the demand of the essay. So clearly understand that the example you have, does it fit in the demand of the essay or not. Second, so in the time planning while writing essay, I used to plan like 1.5 hour, exact 1.5 hour I have to give on each essay, and in that 20 minutes for each essay I have to brainstorm. And in brainstorm, I used to filter out, like I had 10 to 12 stories, which I told, like of Alva Edison, or I told of that photo of New York Times. Like I had prepared Chandrayaan landing, I had prepared Buddhism, origin of Buddhism, I had prepared Waterloo massacre and Industrial Revolution. Such a large themes which have content of 2 pages. I had prepared for intro, prepared 10 to 15, and just write in one line. Then coming to pages, divide 2 page, I'll write intro, 2 page conclusion. In body, I will break this essay in 4 subtopic, and 1.5 is dedicated to each. And in that you write example. In first paragraph, you here write example that I will write about Industrial Revolution, Buddhism. In second, I will write about Keynesian economy versus economy by Adam Smith. So use like example from your GS, and that is to be done in 1 hour 10 minutes. So this was my strategy for time.
So now coming to gender studies paper, again we'll go paper wise, and again as you have secured the highest marks in GS paper 1, so I would specifically ask you what strategy was you adopted again which gained you highest marks in GS paper 1.
So in GS paper 1, the 3 subjects which we refer, like history, and then after there is society section and geography. So for geography, I had prepared very well. And in fact, I told you that I made whole notes in 10 parts and used to revise 1 part each day. So till geography, I refer every content. So the questions which used to come geography, that are common, mostly coverable by NCRTs. The questions which are out of the context, like fjord was, there was a question, or there was a question was Purvaya. So I was fortunate that I belong to Purvaya region. So there is a bit of luck that I belong to region. So I was knowing about the cultural ethos associated with Purvaya. Like there is Ropni dance, there is the Sohar song, that all is associated with Bidesiya song, there is of Vikari Thakur. I wrote because unfortunately I was knowing that is my region. For fjord, I was somewhere studied regarding some tour package that this area has fjord in Norway, etc. That I saw from some kind of blog video. Simultaneously, there was a question of railway. I told that I used the content from that movie of Crow Indian, that how it was displaced. Simultaneously, so there was a like these things, the common examples which we observe, no one knows that how it could be used. So if you have calm mind during the examination while writing the paper, and meditation is a very better way, that when you go to exam hall, don't rush for last minute content, that doesn't help much more. Rather sit somewhere, calm your mind 5 minutes, tell that I have very vast sphere of knowledge, I will use this time to write down what, whenever and wherever I got the opportunity. Now coming to society section, I think that this section has been able to give me the most of the marks, especially because my optional is anthropology, and in anthropology paper 2 is complete society. Even the half of the syllabus is complete society. And while writing the answer, for example, there was a question like caste is fluid or static, both at the same time. I didn't write general answer. I took concept from my anthropology, that there is like GS Ghure, who had given 6 attributes of caste. So I wrote that 6 attributes. I made a flowchart. One side I wrote 6 attributes of caste. I didn't mention the name of the scholar because that's not an optional paper, but I wrote 6 attributes. But somewhere I mention Ambedkar, somewhere I mention M.N. Srinivas, because it is not necessary that for M.N. Srinivas only sociology or anthropological students should know. He has been renowned scholar of India. Everyone should know, in fact. So I wrote about them, and in 6, I wrote that. Then in the second column, I wrote what is happening in urban area, which these 6 attribute is changing in urban area, and which is changing in rural area. So I made very representative the society question. I didn't beat around the bush. Simultaneously, there was a question regarding like communalism and in post liberalism era. So in that I refer to Sahchar committee report, because that has covered extensive that what are the condition of minorities in India and how they are being affected due to liberalized economy. So basically the content from optional helps a lot. So for society, my suggestion is do not ignore it just for the sake of certain material, or you think that we live in society, we are aware of the everything what is happening, so we will be able to write the answer. You are aware about the what we are able to see. We are not able to decode the societal currents which are existing in society. That's the work of the scholars. So for society, refer a specific content, refer notes, refer some teacher, refer some specific book. For example, in my case, I refer anthropological concepts.
Okay. So now again we'll switch to paper 2 and 3. And again paper 2 and 3 are told to be the most dynamic papers as far as inculcation of current affairs are included. How you prepared for paper 2 and 3?
So in case of paper 2, I think paper PYQ itself is very sufficient guiding light that in what direction you have to prepare. For example, again we observe that there is clear-cut question demarcation also. First 4 question polity, the next 4 questions social justice, next 2 question is from IR. So that is the guide. For polity questions, we are observing that they are asking themes, not just a specific like earlier they used to ask tell 5 adjective of preamble. They are not asking that. They are asking how constitution is the article 21 is modernizing the constitution, how constitution has perspective for women. So these themes you need to have a lot of example, and by rote learning you can't do that. By whatever you are going through newspaper, through contents that need to be important. For example, in some newspaper you are getting that Supreme Court is doing this. There is I even mentioned the case which was happening regarding marriage in context of just gender. There was not mention of women. It was a question regarding gender realization. So I didn't just included women. I also mentioned the issues of transgender and how court is taking a stand on that also. So the case law are very important. Fortunately, so I studied, like I have habit of reading. So I studied a book by Jia Modi, like 10 important Supreme Court cases which changed India. In that there are 10 very beautiful cases. I refer everyone, not the whole book, just read the conclusion or crux. Like I mention unique examples. Nilabati Behra case. Then after Olga Telis versus BMC, I mentioned that in GS1, there was a question that there is segregation of poor in urban area. So I mentioned that case in GS1. So be extensively prepared. The simple solution lies in content, and it is not that content should be limited just from the coaching or books or wherever you get it, you internalize it for the paper and make your mind very calm while writing, that you know everything. Just you have to anyhow use your knowledge. Show the examiner that you know something different from others, and that will boost your marks. Coming to GS3, so that is the one thing I told I had advantage, that being from the science background. There are 4-5 questions which are tough but easily doable by the student of science background. For example, last year they asked vaccine, they asked cellulose metabolism. So for a lot of students, it was panic. But I think when you are preparing for GS3, do not ignore science, do not ignore internal security. We observe that for internal security, hardly we refer 20-30 page notes. But I don't think that is sufficient, because this year sir, they ask a very general question, that what is the role of intelligence agency. But I wrote that they have very unique role, like they collect intelligence in format of human, techint, OSINT, now human intelligence, technological intelligence, open society intelligence. These are something keyword if you use in your answer, even in simple questions, that is making your answer apart. And for that you have to study. Everyone will be writing that they used to collect intelligence, but when you are referring that they used to collect a variety of intelligence like human, techint, OSINT, that is making your answer apart and going to give you good marks. So for GS3, especially for internal security and science, do not ignore, refer it well. For science sections, class 12 chemistry, NCRT is there, and there is a single chapter, that environmental chemistry. That is so important that that is going to cover 2-3 questions of your mains GS3. Simultaneously, class 12 biology NCRT. There are chapters like application of biotechnology. There are chapters like biodiversity. There are chapters like use of microorganisms in daily life. This year they asked that what could be the use of microorganism in fuel. So unless and until you don't know the common microbes, like there is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Acetobacter niger. So these are the common names they are mentioned. And if you write in your paper, that is going to make a difference. So you need to study extensively. Don't ignore these subjects. That is the take on GS3. Then after you will be getting good marks.
Sir, what was the strategy for general studies paper 4, that is ethics, integrity and aptitude? There are 2 sections over there. One is a theory section and the other section is case studies. So what was your strategy for these sections?
So in that case, the 2 sections, first of all, I again take time division, because time management is very important. I simultaneously divide completely 1.5 hours for case studies and 1.5 hours for short notes questions. For case studies, if you have 1.5 hours and 6 case study, so time is very defined there, 15 minutes per. In that 2 minutes, you have to read the question, understand the question, and infer that what the question is asking. I used to give 2 to 3, max 3 minutes if the case study is too long, and not beyond that. So the length of, when I open the question, the length of case study decide that whether I have to understand the question in fast manner or the slow manner. And this will automatically come when you write extensively in mocks, when you take mocks. That is important. Like Vision Abhyas is also a good platform where I wrote my GS4. In fact, I got more than 100 marks last year. So because I was able to take questions in 2 minutes, and then I had 13 minutes to write. And if you have to write 4 pages in 30 minutes, hardly you will be able to think there something unique. You will be directly asking the same repeated pattern, that corruption, for corruption we need code of ethics, code of conduct, we need integrity, morality. These things will be coming. But to write something else, like there is also Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. There is Civil Services Conduct Act, Central Civil Services. There is All India Rules, which have very specific provisions that you cannot accept a gift beyond 25,000 rupees. If you put this contents, that I will investigate whether the officer has taken a gift of more than that, I will start prosecution under this act. And if you write, definitely you are going to get good marks. I did this in this attempt, and I got 170, which is a decent mark, not too good, which is a decent marks. For short notes questions, I referred basically like ethics from Gandhian perspective. There is a book, and the second ARC. There are a lot of books which provide gist of second ARC. So these 2 books made the cornerstone. And then last year I had notes of Vision IS value added notes, and that especially the topic wise and especially the thinkers part, like about the Aristotle, Confucius, that is very well covered. So the thinkers I had prepared from vision value added notes, that has helped. Then after I referred that book, that Ethics by the Gandhian perspective, that what Gandhiji has take on, and it helped a lot. Like this year there was a question that whether law should be better guiding light or cons signs of ours. So that has helped. So these have been a strategy for ethics.
So we discussed about the strategy, and one of the core things regarding mains is writing down the answers, and not just answers, perfect answers, right? Many students think what is the ideal time to start write the answer. Many students start write answers on the very beginning. Some students do it later after some months, or many students just do answer writing before the examination. So what is your take on when to ideally start writing down the answers in the preparation journey for examination?
So I think that there may be multiple answers according to the person wise, but my personal the strategy which has worked on me, and I think that what should be done in this case, that first of all, don't start answer writing just from beginning, because what is examiner expecting in the answer, what is the priority of expectation? And I think that the first priority of expectation is content, quality content. The second priority could be handwriting, could be better looking answer, could be betterly symmetrical answer, could be highlighted answer, that could be. But as per my understanding, priority should definitely would be content. So first build content, complete your whole syllabus, and while when you have completed your 70% syllabus, especially the important subjects, for example, you have completed holistically history, polity, environment, geography, then after you can start. Initially hardly try 2 to 3 questions, not more than that, because it will take a lot of time. Initially you are writing to make your answer representative, not the answer which we write in exam mode. So okay, enjoy that, that's a very enjoying phase. You feel proud that you have written an answer for UPSC. Definitely everyone should enjoy, but not more than 2 3. Make content your strength. When you have completed, for me what I did, that suppose if I have 1 year of preparation, if I am starting from June, so I'll complete my whole syllabus till January. From January to March, I will write 2 answer, and especially I'll refer PYQ. First of all, I will refer PYQ, subject wise or whatever, like paper wise. Then after I will stop, study for prelims. As soon as I have given prelims, irrespective that whether I'm getting selected or not, I'll start answer writing, and 5 questions each day. 5 questions for GS and 5 questions for optional. 10 questions for 1.5 hours. Whatever the time according to the pattern of UPSC, and I will write till before the 1 week of mains examination. This was my strategy, and in fact, sir, this strategy helped me a lot. And I also joined Abhyas, Vision Abhyas, and in Abhyas also I was able to complete whole paper just due to practice of 3 months, but it was a continuous practice. Just giving prelims, I took 2 day gap, and then after I started answer writing for complete 3 months. Initially it was not too good, but I observed in Abhyas I got too much good marks. I think around 199 is good marks in Abhyas. So I got it, so it gave me confidence. What happened that in GS4 paper this year, I was writing, and the time was so managed, because I was very clear. The 10 question is there, I have total 90 minutes, 13 question is there, so hardly 6 minutes I have. And I used to customize my answer, that is exactly in 6 minutes. So sometimes I had to leave the content also. That is very important. If you are knowing too much and want to write too good answer in paper, this is going to harm you 10 marks, and in that 10 you must get at least 3 marks. So to get 1 marks, why harm 3 marks? So that strategy, that self-control is very important, and that comes with practice, too much practice. So that I was applying, and it happens that before 2 minutes I completed my paper. So I folded it, put my pen, so examiner came, he thought that I was not knowing any answer. So he picked my copy and started like turning all pages till last pages. He checked, he found that all is filled. So he smiled, showed me a thumbs up, and last May he asked that how you was able, all were writing. I saw some questions have been left by a lot of students. How you completed 2 minutes? I just told that I am practicing since 2 years. because last year also I completed 19 questions. To complete one question 2 minutes before, I tried 3 months continuously. So he was just smiling. So that is the strategy for answer writing. And beyond that, what topic, what to write, what not. I think a lot of content is available, lot of guidance is available for that.
I think you're rightly very strategically pointed out regarding when to start writing the answers, and again managing time in the examination as well, right? So now again we'll first switch to optionals, right? Again, you have again guided our students what is our strategy to choose an optional subject. I would specifically ask you what was your strategy as far as anthropology subject is concerned.
As soon as I gave my first attempt from medical science, I realized that whatever I am going to put, first of all, that is very lengthy, medical science, plus that there is little understanding, more rote learning in medical science. So I evaluated very carefully that I have to complete GS also, I have to do my job also, I have limited time. So whether I should reinforce myself on medical science or should I shift? So I decided that reinforcing will be not much fruitful because that need time and I have a scarcity of that time. So what optional would be correct? I shortlisted 2-3 optional in which there was a psychology because I have interest in psychology. I used to read a lot of books regarding that. I also took help of psychology and ethics also when there is a question of child learning, etc. So Pigot's studies there, etc. So I took psychology, geology, anthropology. I decided that anthropology is beneficial for me, supportive for me, because 25% syllabus I do not have to study. There is a physical anthropology and the topic are similar to medical science. And that topic are expecting knowledge of 12th level a bit more, not even complete graduation level. So that was advantage. So I got that only 75% I have to do in that. 25% is already done. So that become the basis of selection. But when I started preparing the sociological part, initially I thought that it is so simple. I will get content. A lot of toppers are there from anthropology. Their notes are there, and some has got 362 marks out of 500. That is too high. So I thought that I'll refer those and will understand easily. So I refer to that, and in 2021, I found that there is very little question which are from PYQ. There are completely new questions coming. So this is very challenging that in notes what you can do that the PYQs, notes are basically PYQs for anthropology. Every toppers have prepared from PYQ. So I somewhere sensed that UPSC is going to be tougher gradually. So they will shift from PYQ to new questions, especially those part of syllabus, those aspects they have left untouched in these 30 years. There are some chapter, like there is a chapter on cell biology that UPSC before this attempt had never asked a single question since 30 years. The first time they asked the gene expression like question, and the very little students were able to do, especially those from biology background did it. So the message is very clear from UPSC side, and I sensed that I need to put extra effort. So in sociological aspect, I started referring IGNOU material, reading itself from myself, and the content of anthropology and sociology, which are common. For example, there are a concept of purity and pollution in caste. So there is Louis Dumont study, and there is also stratification debate versus other aspect hierarchy. So that is not well explained anywhere in anthropology, but that is well explained in sociology. And simultaneously there is cultural lag nowhere in anthropology. But since there is culture mentioned in anthro and in sociology, it is very well explained. So I took these topics from sociology, and fortunately I was able to do this time. This time a lot of friends of mine which has got selected was not able to get very good marks. They've got 260, 270, but fortunately I've got 290 due to these efforts that I was able to sense that UPSC is going to shift from asking a PYQ to the new questions, and they asked 4-5 new questions this year.
Very detailed strategy regarding anthropology, sir. So now I would like to shift our discussion from academic to psychological, right? Again, as you talked, you have an into psychology. students face a lot of stress while preparing for the examination. Maybe someone clears examination, someone again clears examination, second attempt, third attempt. How to tackle that mental stress, anxiety, pressure in this preparation journey?
Sir, I think that it is very normal to get anxiety. This is not a disorder. Unless and until you cross the stage where you are getting affected biologically, your health is deteriorating, you are getting mental health issues. Beyond that, and that takes time of 6 months, 1 year. Suppose someone has not been selected, and if he is not out of that pain up to 1 year, then he should seek medical help. But beyond that, like if you are out of result, if you are out of result of prelims this day, and for 2 months you are in psychological state, that's very normal. That's a suffering in Buddha's philosophy, right? And you have to take that suffering if you are present on earth. So the basic mindset which you need, that you have taken a challenge and believe that 90% time you are going to fail. Okay, but a 10% you definitely have, where you have very much chances to be successful. And in out of 10 times you have to accept this, and 9 times you are going to fail. In fact, I was ready for this attempt also, because we have 6 attempt, and so in that, if this is going to be 4th attempt, I'll be ready for with that same energy, because I was clear I will fail 5 times, and last time I'll definitely come out of this cycle. So if you have such a mindset, then the anxiety would not stretch you so long that you will get some kind of mental issues. So be very clear that this is a painful process. The pain will come, the hurdles will come, and you have to accept it. Those 5 days, 10 days suffering, that is a part of the preparation. There is no solution, sir. In fact, there is no medicine for this. So first of all, be acceptable. And if you have that trait, I think in civil services, that trait is constantly required. If you are taking some efforts to improve administration, you will not be succeeded every time in first effort. You will take 4 effort, 5 effort in country like India, then after you will become definitely successful. And they are also judging this. There is high selection rate among 3rd attempt, 4th attempt, and even a lot of students getting selected in 6th attempt also. So you have the complete, you make mindset that I will not be broken before the 6th attempt. And why to be broken in life? You have a lot of things to do. A lot of people will be thinking that I have been selected, that's why I'm saying that. But I was very clear that after, when I am doing my job 11 hour in AIIMS, so let's start preparing for that. I will do hard work 11 hour. And if suppose I am not selected, I will again do 11-hour duty, my hard work, I'll contribute there. So, but while thinking I will do again that, I stressed on what? That I will do 11 hour of studies. I didn't do 11 hour of study, but with that thing in mind, I was able to do 7 to 8 hours. So make it constant. You will not be failing if your strategy is correct, if your path is correct. And if suppose you are so unfortunate, then it's just an examination, just a career. There could be a lot.
Again, very holistically covered the answer. I would like to ask sir, ki again, the examination journey is a very long process. If I may ask you, what was your motivation which kept you motivated throughout the journey?
So one time someone had told me that for the whole life you don't need motivation. Because what motivates us? The very simple things around us. So don't think about motivation. Go for inspiration. Go for inspiration. And for inspiring, there are a lot of things there. Like just think about the independence we have got. The Quit India movement, 10,000 people British killed. We do remember like Nehru ji, Mahatma Gandhi ji, but do we remember those 10,000 people? No, but those are also an inspiration for the country. So the inspiration for civil services, there are like a lot of researchers, a lot of scholars which are doing for the favor of the country, just for the sake of the country. They could be inspiration. Gandhi could be inspiration. Nehru could be inspiration. Subhash Chandra Bose could be inspiration, which has capacity from being in exile to form a government, to form a complete military. So if they can form a military from there, when there is total odds, There is nothing in support there. You have to escape the country, go to Berlin, then go to Tokyo. So you have here a room, a teacher, a laptop, whatever you need there is. Why not you can sit and study? So there are a lot of examples. Don't motivate by toppers and teachers. Definitely, there could be teachers who are inspiring, not by showing their own personality, but showing the personality which really shaped the world. So that could be a very inspiring teacher. So that could be your inspiration. A lot of teachers are also my inspiration. A lot of doctors are also my inspiration, which are doing very good. So for inspiration, there is no like scarcity. Just you be ready to understand them. You'll start working.
Sir, as Prelims 2024 is approaching, any last moment message for our students you would like to convey?
So especially for prelims 2024, that as per my understanding, the paper is again will be on the same lines. At least it may be tough, no one knows. And especially for that, I have found that the India yearbook has relevance. So that's a very bulky book. I do not suggest anyone to go and read line by line. But if you get summary or some kind of like Vision 365, also do cover that extensively. So refer that. That could help, because one question which I can recall that they asked anemia Mukta Bharat, and in that they asked code clamping. Could you think a lot of time doctors are not able to recall that what is code clamping? How could students from an engineering background could recall, unless and until they have understood it clearly or studied it clearly? So they are telling that now the strategy of elimination or whatever used to exist, that will not work, because the competition is too high. A lot of candidates are there. We have to select a very limited number. So in that you need to study extensively. So I suggest that refer Vision, that is very good, or any coaching material magazine, freely available it is, refer that, or even the yearbook will help if you find the gist. And PYQs are the best guide, especially in PYQs when you find that there is a new word somewhere, like the code clamping, it came simultaneously, there is a mention of in that low birth weight babies. So just to go and understand that what weight qualifies for low birth weight. So be a researcher, a kind of, in yourself, not by studying extensive books, but understanding UPSC mindset. You have to research the UPSC mindset, and PYQ are very good reflector of the mindset of the examination. Simultaneously in CSAT, don't ignore the mathematics part, don't ignore the comprehension part. Maybe tomorrow comprehension become too tough and mathematics part very easy. So for someone who are betting on comprehension, could harm their complete attempt. So take it very seriously, devise your time and be very specific that I will complete my paper in 1.5 hour, half both, and practice a lot for that to get a proper pace. That is all suggestions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us today and again sharing your journey with us.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, aspirants, sir has shared his journey, and the journey was completely inspirational and motivational. Help it and again decode it and frame your own journey. All the best.